But the SDCC 2024 one, dude, like this right here, I think this is probably the most atrocious looking smiling Goku face sculpt, like happy, you know, eyes like that Goku that Bandai's ever made. I mean, I think the superhero has like a smirk, but it's more like a kind of like a serious-ish, like a fighting kind of smirk, not really like a completely happy kind of smirk like this. So like a jolly kind of smirk, you know. So this right here, dude, this stuff is atrocious. Like absolutely abominable to me. It just looks horrible. Like you can't even see his nose, dude. Like this looks so horrible. And I'm like, who is Bandai paying to make this garbage? Alright, so first we've got Black Shark here. As usual, making Bandai look like just cheap, you know, just lazy, poor quality garbage, as they often do, okay? Like this is what Black Shark basically does with these face sculpts. So we've got this image here of Black Shark working on like a, you know, a happy, smiling Goku. I think it looks very, very similar. Like it's like something is slightly missing to me. Like it looks good, but something is slightly off and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I think someone in the comments mentioned that like these hair sculpts and stuff shouldn't have so many lines to more so resemble how the anime, like you don't really see detail really in black hair. It's more just like usually like just solid black. So adding the lines and stuff does, you know, make a different kind of aesthetic than the anime typically has, or the anime has, you know. So there's that. But of course, I mean, even like this looks good. I mean, it looks very solid, you know. I do think something's slightly off. I'm not sure what it is though. But even so, this looks way better than Bandai, you know. I think the 1.0 Goku might have had a decent smiling expression. The Saiyan raised on Earth might look decent as well, but certainly you can tell like there's a higher artistic standard with this than with those, you know. I think like those look a bit more basic, you know, but they don't look like horrible to me necessarily, right? But the SDCC 2024 one, dude, like this right here, I think this is probably the most atrocious looking smiling Goku face sculpt, like happy, you know, eyes like that Goku that Bandai's ever made. I mean, I think the superhero has like a smirk, but it's more like a kind of like a serious-ish, like a fighting kind of smirk, not really like a completely happy kind of smirk like this. So like a jolly kind of smirk, you know. So this right here, dude, this stuff is atrocious. Like absolutely abominable to me. It just looks horrible. Like you can't even see his nose, dude. Like this looks so horrible. And I'm like, who is Bandai paying to make this garbage? That's what I want to know. How are they actually paying people, right, to make a happy Goku expression? And then they produce this garbage right here. And the manager or whoever is like, hey, yeah, totally, we approve this, let's go. The reason they get away with this lazy garbage is because they have no competition, okay? Third-party stuff, they're not competing at Walmart. They're not competing at Target, Big Bad Toy Store, whatever other, you know, so-called retailers. If they're scalping at all, I don't consider them true retailers. But, you know, so-called retailers, right? They're not competing at those kind of stores and stuff like that. Or even Amazon. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen third-party stuff on Amazon. If it's ever been there, of course, it's probably being sold by like third-party sellers or whatever. But I don't think I've ever seen third-party Dragon Ball figures on Amazon, personally. But like, the reason they get away with this is because they have no competition, okay? Bandai knows that if you want this Goku right here, you have to get it from them, okay? So let's move on now to this other image here. Another image here of Goku, you know, kind of like shocked or something like that. Pretty solid stuff. But you know what? I will mention though, with Black Shark, their physical products, to me, actually look better than the renders. So I expect that if Black Shark were to like, say like, you know, 3D print this or manufacture this or whatever and, you know, apply color and stuff, it'll probably look better than this render. I will say though, regarding like the hair texture stuff, You'll also notice the tongue. Like Goku's tongue here doesn't have that line, but here it has a line. So they've added a bit more realism, I guess, to this rather as opposed to how the anime looks. I think I would personally rather if it just looked just like the anime, like say the tongue was just like this, the hair didn't have as many lines or any lines at all, that kind of stuff. I think black hair, in the anime at least, black hair, like I think it's always like just like jet black. You like hardly ever, if ever, see these kind of lines and stuff, so I can see that. And then this right here, this will probably look really awesome once a Black Shark makes a physical product and adds color and that kind of stuff. So way better than Bandai, of course. You're not going to see Bandai really making stuff like this. I don't think Bandai's... I think the 1.0 had a kind of face sculpt kind of similar to this. But since then, I don't think Bandai's made like a really like goofy, artistic face sculpt for Goku, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And you can notice that with Bandai, it seems that like, as the line has gone on, Bandai puts in less and less effort. You know, when they first started, they had a bunch of accessories and stuff. They had better shading on the figures. The 1.0 Goku had like, you know, these expressive face sculpts and stuff like that, you know. And now they put in less effort because they're complacent and lazy, because they know that they've established their name as like, oh, SH Figuarts. So anything they release, they're basically guaranteed to get a bunch of sales because people are like, oh, this is SH Figuarts. But I do think that more people in recent times are starting to realize how much of a scam Bandai is, okay? So we've got this right here. Let's see. So this, yeah, looks pretty spot on, man. I mean, I think that looks pretty much exactly like that. Like, I don't think there's even any real deviation. Like, this is really spot on. If I wanted to like nitpick, I guess, like you see this line right here, I don't see that third line over here, but like, you know, it's not a big deal, you know, it's just like one line. But this is very solid, man. Like, this is cool. Now, I don't know whether Black Shark is including these with the current pre-order, which we'll talk about in the AliExpress section, or if these are going to be a separate like head sculpt kit or something. I personally would prefer for them to be a separate head sculpt kit, because I don't really care about the body of their Goku they're making right now. It has those ugly Gains Begin hips that I don't really care about. So if I bought that, I'd be buying, you know, a body that I don't have any use for, really. So there's that. But if the price, of course, of the head sculpt kit is decent, not like, you know, I don't know, just some ridiculous price for like 2 face sculpts or something, like GM Studio, that kind of stuff, you know, like just that kind of low value kind of thing. Like I'd like to see good value with the set if they were to make a separate set, you know. So here we have this as well, and they're actually making some like fighting face sculpts, man. So that is good to see. Before it was all kind of like happy stuff, I think. So this is cool to see. And that looks pretty cool. You know, I think, as I said, I expect these to look better as physical products than as renders, but clearly they're making this stuff look like the actual anime, movie, whatever that is. I'm not sure what movie or anime that is. Then you've got this right here, right? And this is what Bandai should be doing, right? Bandai should actually be aiming to make their face sculpts and stuff look like the anime, the movie, the manga, movies, manga, whatever, you know? You got this. Now, I don't see a reference for this, so I don't know. But yeah, it looks solid, dude. Looks better than Bandai, of course, you know. I think Lowest Born Saiyan, I said before, is like a, you know, a solid like Saiyan Saga aesthetic. But apart from that, Bandai generally does a pretty generic job with the face sculpt. So this is very cool to see. I look forward to seeing how these look as actual like physical products, because I think they'll look even better.